Parents, it's time to celebrate. The new On Purpose Parents podcast, a Saddleback Parents podcast, has arrived, and we're here to help you win at parenting. As parents ourselves, we know that parenting is the toughest, most important job on the planet. You can't possibly do it alone. And now you don't have to, because we're your people. Connect with us by texting the word parents to the number 83000, visiting us at onpurposeparents.com, and tuning in every Wednesday with Kurt, Grace, and Chris for tips, ideas, and encouragement to help you win at being an on-purpose parent.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of our On Purpose Parents podcast. I'm Kurt.
I'm Grace.
And off to my left is the esteemed off-camera producer, Chris. Welcome back, producer Chris.
It's me, Chris.
You do such a good job.
Chris is awesome.
He put this whole studio together. He's unbelievable.
Such a hard worker, so kind,
and he's
so
an
supportive.
Amazing dad, an amazing
thanks,
spouse.
man.
I don't know. I'm not married to him, but I'm just kind of
you
assuming.
assume.
Yeah, he's been happily married for what, 33 years?
What's in that drink of yours there on the table?
Again,
what did you
I'm
slip in
assuming
there?
happily married for 33 years. All I know is he's been married for 33 years.
I know. What's going on today, though, right,
He
Chris?
smiles a lot.
Usually he rags on you, but today he's
Well,
laying on the compliments.
I came in today a little bit early, and Tanya, who works with me, because I was full of life for some reason, and she was like, "Wow, Friday morning early Kurt is a different version." And I was up at 5 a.m. I normally surf on Friday mornings.
Oh.
I'm out of my house at 5:30 every Friday morning, and I normally surf with my friends, and I couldn't today because we're having some work done, some cabinet work in our house, and so I came into work earlier than normal on a Friday.
Nice.
And for some reason, I was just very lively, and I guess it's rolling over to how I'm treating producer Chris. So I apologize, Chris.
Producer Chris is getting all the love today.
Also, right before, I kind of fixed your shirt a
Well,
little
yeah,
bit.
I'll dial it back. I was going to take Chris out to a nice lunch after this,
Oh,
but
wow.
I
Look
probably
at
need
that.
to dial. I need to dial it all back.
He
a little
won't know
bit.
what to do with this treatment.
Taco Bell on me, I guess. Anyway, hey, we are in our second week of our little series. We're doing a series called Relationship Boosters,
Yes.
right? How to enhance your family. And in the previous episode, if you're listening sequentially, people may not be, but if they are, in our previous episode, we talked about just enhancing your marriage after you have kids.
Yeah.
And today, Grace, we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about how to boost the fun in your family.
Yes. We're going to talk about fun today.
Good times. Something tells me Grace has a lot to talk about when it comes to fun, because I know you and Sam. I know your wonderful daughters, and I just feel like your household is a household of fun.
Yeah, we try. That
Yeah.
is one of those things that we do focus on. So,
Well, you want to kick us off? We'll do it
Yeah.
like we have. We'll just go back and forth. We've got 6 tips.
yeah, love it.
And this might be one, if you're listening at home or you have the ability, if you're not on a treadmill or driving,
Yes.
this could be one where you actually write some stuff down, because we're gonna give some like specific examples
Yeah.
of things you can do that are fun when you're raising your kids.
Right.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, here you go. Well, my first tip actually is a kind of a mindset thing, which is realize that the benefit of fun is not just fun. So there may be some parents who are listening that are like, oh, cool, they're talking about fun. But we may have some other parents that are like, really? Like, with all the things going on, with everything that's important to talk about with parenting, we're going to have a whole episode that talks about fun.
Yeah,
you
we
know,
are.
it just, it may seem like it's a little extracurricular, right? Like,
Sure.
not
Fair
the
enough.
core.
It's not urgent.
It's not urgent. It's
Right.
not the most important thing. It's a little frou-frou, a little fluffy. But I do believe, and this is why we wanted to talk about it, is that there is power in play and a lot of positive outcomes, that it's not just about fun, that there's these really significant and meaningful impacts that having fun together as a family could have on your children, on your relationship with your children. So I'm just going to name a few with this point. One, having fun together builds up your kids' self-esteem. So when you play and when you have fun with your kids, you're telling your kids, you're important to me. You're valuable. You're worth spending time with. I have fun with you. You're someone I could have fun with. And that's such a confidence booster. I love spending time with you. When you feel that and when you can absorb that as a kid, it really builds the confidence and their self-esteem. Having fun also helps to build family identity. I know I've talked to a lot of people. Oftentimes when you're having fun, like random fun together as a family, that's how traditions are built. That's how they get the idea. That's how something starts. And it builds strong relationships. And when we've talked about this a lot, having strong family bonds has so many, positive, domino effects into other areas of life. And lastly, it has really powerful health benefits, like emotional and physical. So when you play together, you're probably laughing together. And, there's all those studies out there when you laugh together, the good endorphins, feel good, hormones are released, but also it really lowers stress. It builds up your immune system and it just triggers a lot of positive things physically. My mom, she helps to run a senior center in Chicago, and they've, done all these research with seniors and what really helps improve their quality of life. And they have all these different activities for seniors throughout the day. And sometimes they have these little classes and sessions. And I was there visiting one time, and one of the sessions that they do regularly is called Laugh Time. So picture this, you walk into a room and you have these seniors sitting around in chairs in a circle. And then, the staff person who's leading this time will say, all right, on the count of 3, we're going to laugh. And then we're like, 1, 2, 3. And then everyone's like, you're kind of fake laughing because you've been told to laugh, right? You're commanded to laugh. But it is so funny. You start fake laughing, but then it turns into real laughing because you just can't help it because everyone laughs weirdly, or funny. But then afterwards, you just feel so good. You're and you feel closer to people. There's a better vibe in the room. And they do that regularly and purposely as a senior center, trying to build the well-being for these seniors. So it reminds me of the verse, Psalm 118:24. This is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So yeah, my number one tip is having fun is really valuable in contributing to overall quality of life. And it's not something we should dismiss as just being extracurricular.
There's benefits to being fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great mindset. Mine is also a mindset, but I've got a few little kind of examples of ideas. Yeah. But mine is, remember, home is where the fun is.
Oh, nice.
You don't have to leave your house to have fun. Sometimes as parents, we think, well, if we're not going to Disneyland, we're not taking a Grand Canyon road trip, which sounds like the opposite of fun to me.
Oh my gosh.
A Grand Canyon road trip.
That is the most amazing road trip. Gosh. I love those things.
There you go. See, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, totally.
But sometimes we think if we're not doing these grander things, then how can we really have fun? And you can have so much fun inside the walls of your house without spending a lot of money, right? So some examples would be just quick, cheesy little examples is what if you let each child, now they have to be a little bit older, but my granddaughter's 3 and she could do this. Let each child create their own Spotify playlist.
Fun.
Create your own playlist. And then every night while we're doing our evening chores or as we're cleaning up after dinner, or maybe even as we're eating dinner, right? A different person's playlist. Oh. Hey, Tuesday night, it's your son's playlist. Oh, Wednesday night, and it gets a little bit risky when you have teenagers, I suppose. Their playlist is stuff that you don't like, B, you don't understand, C, you're concerned about the lyrics, whatever. Yeah. But if you can just go, hey, it's your night for the playlist. That's fun, right? Super basic, super easy, super fun. Let the kids cook 1 meal a week. What if you told the kids, hey, every Wednesday night, the 2 of you get together and whatever you make, that's what we're going to eat.
Oh, my goodness.
Risky. risky, super fun. Brave. If you're a kid, that's super fun, right?
Yes.
Because they might just decide, we're going to feed mom and dad Lucky Charms for dinner. Okay.
Yeah.
One night a week, parents eating Lucky Charms for dinner isn't going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Right? Or they might say, hey, mom, dad, can you help? Because we want to make spaghetti. And you have to help, but let them cook for the family once a week. Just something that could be kind of fun and different. Here's kind of my point with this. Those are just some specifics. But I think as far as this mentality of fun is where the home is, as a parent, when you're in the middle of something, it's dinner time. We're doing chores. We're watching a movie. We're playing board games, right? Whatever it is, they're doing homework and they're different parts of the room. If as a parent, you kind of get in the habit of just saying, what could we do to make this a little bit more fun right now? How can we sprinkle a little bit of fun into the environment?
Yeah.
Right? When they're doing homework, fun could just be, and it's also kind and thoughtful, but fun could just be you run out to the local, you run down to 7-Eleven and you surprise them by bringing them a Slurpee in the middle of homework hour, right?
That's
Oh,
nice.
that was nice. That was fun.
Yeah.
You're not saying quit doing your homework and pile in the car and go get Slurpees. You just sneak out for 20 minutes, get a Slurpee, and bring it back. Oh, hey, I noticed you're working hard on your math homework. I know you don't like math. I know it's a bummer. Here, have a Slurpee.
That's
Right?
great.
Just always ask yourself, how can I sprinkle a little bit of fun into this? So that's mine. Is home is where the heart is. Your tip
awesome.
number 1 is realize that there's more to fun than just fun.
Exactly.
There's benefits to it.
Yes. And my next tip actually ends with what your tip was, which is explore different levels of fun, but spend the most time in the simple. So we're going to have really similar kind of concluding thoughts with this one. So I like to kind of think of it as like a triangle or a pyramid. You know, there's a smaller triangle at the top of the pyramid, and then a middle section, and then the larger kind of section at the bottom. So like the top section, it's sort of like you were saying, I think of it as like the big family trips, the things that cost money, the things that you really have to spend time and take investments into. Similar to what you were saying, Kurt, the fun always doesn't need to be there. It's great to think about those things and plan it, but I think sometimes like in this Instagram world, we could see all these families doing these grand international broad trips, and we could feel like, wow, they're having so much fun.
Right.
And I can't do that. I can't go on those trips. So therefore, I can't have fun. Like that's the conclusion.
Yep.
But that's not true, because then you have this middle section of the pyramid, which is something in my mind, think something that's a little more accessible, but it might still require a little bit of effort. Some examples of this that Sam and I have done is we used to, back in Torrance, live in a condo, so we didn't have a front yard, we didn't have a backyard, there was no space to play. But a little bit down the street, outside our condo area, there was a small parking lot. So a few times we would get like a plastic laundry basket with handles, and we'd fill it up with water, and we would like carefully like kind of like walk down the neighborhood with this like a plastic bucket of water with Sam and the girls, and then we would bring squirt guns. And then we would just kind of have a water fight in the parking lot until the water ran out. So it wasn't like this unlimited commitment. It was like, well, the water's gone. Got to go home. Yeah. But it was, the girls just loved it so much. And without fail, they're always ganging up on me and Sam. And then you have your bottom largest section of the pyramid. And these are the things that are like easy and quick at your fingertips. This is like what you were talking about, Kurt, like some of those examples that are at home. You don't have to really like make any effort or investment to have this fun. It's just looking at what are we already doing and how can we just bring a little bit more fun into it. I love how you said that. For our family, I kind of compare this category to like our car ride games. So we have like these series of things that we've just started to do over the years while we're stuck in a car driving somewhere. We can't really do anything else. Where, for example, it'd be like, try to guess the song that I'm humming, but you can only do one note at a time. So I'll be like, da, and they'll be like making guesses. We're like, no, we don't know. Okay, then I'll give them 2 notes, da-da, and then we just keep going. They try to guess it. Really simple, really quick. Another thing along that car ride game theme would be, and I don't know how we started this. We might have gotten it, like an idea from like a late night show or something. But we try to build like a little song together. So like of the 4 of us, the first person will like start with a beat. So it'd be like, inch, 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 right? And then the second person will be like, and then the third person will be like, or whatever, like just bring in room sounds. And for some reason, like our kids love that game. So much they're just like, you start, Daddy, and then I'm second, and then Mom's third, and I'll be the climactic end sound. And we just like, it's just silly. I mean, that may or may not be like the character of your family, right? Like every family has different personalities, but I think the point is, like, you can find these things that your kids and you gravitate to that's just at your fingertips. Like, just to call a couple other things we've done stargazing in the front yard, just outside. We do Saturday movie nights with ice cream. That's important to our kids. And board games, walks. Sometimes we just look at old family photos and like tell stories of when they were little and things like that. And all of that is so accessible and easy. And so my encouragement would be to just focus on these small things, and you'll be surprised how much boost of fun you could bring into your family.
For some reason, you're talking about everybody adds a sound to the song. I was thinking about when our kids were not a whole lot younger. They were teenagers for sure, but we would, whenever we went like on a little bit of a longer trip out to the desert or anywhere, if we were going to be in the car for maybe more than an hour, sooner or later, somebody would always want us to play. We got different names for it: crazy karaoke, the iTunes game. But what it was we would pass the headphones would rotate around. The only person who couldn't play is the driver. But the headphones would get passed around, and you put the headphones on, and then the person next to you in line, they get to choose any song that they pick a song that they think but that's going to be kind of fun. And then they hit play and crank it up, so you're hearing it in the headphones. And the rules were you have to sing it all as loud as you can when it's your turn. And so you're sitting there with your headphones on, singing some goofy song that your kid picked for you. You can't even barely hear yourself, but they all hear you.
They're recording it forever.
They loved it. They loved it. It was actually really fun. Okay,
I love that.
So my next tip number 1: remember home is where the fun is. Realize benefits of fun is more than just fun.
Explore different levels
of fun, which is fantastic. The triangle pyramid.
Yeah.
At the very top of the triangle, that's the big stuff.
Yeah.
Middle is a little bit less or a lot less expensive, but still takes a little bit of effort, right? And then down below is all that. The pyramid of fun is really a great concept. Here's my second tip is, this one is for those of you who are planners.
Oh, okay.
And there's some of you that you're listening now and you're going, gosh, all they're talking about is just all this spontaneity and I'm not naturally spontaneous. I'm not naturally fun. I have to work at being fun, which is fine. That's okay. For those of you who fall in that category, here's my tip. Be strategically spontaneous.
I
like
that.
Plan for spontaneity. And what I mean by that is maybe in addition to planning these big planned out trips and stuff, I might say, depending on how you're wired, instead of that, because sometimes you plan this on this day, we're all going to go here and it's going to be amazing. And then it's rainy that day.
Yeah.
And all the plans, the wheels fall off the cart, right?
Right.
Or we're going to go to Disney World and then you take a pay cut and you can't afford to go to Disney World and now you've broken promises, right? But what if you just looked at your calendar for the month and you sat down with your spouse and you said, hey, on this night and on this afternoon, husband and wife are planning fun. The kids have no idea.
Okay.
But we're going to be spontaneously fun, right? So, you make a plan to do something out of the blue, and your kids think, "Oh my gosh, our parents are so cool! Like we were in the middle of doing our chores, and all of a sudden they came in and said, "We're going to the movies."
Yeah.
Right? We got the coolest parents ever. Well, no, your parents planned.
Right.
Right? They're being strategic. They're making plans. They're thinking ahead. But your kids think that mom and dad are just the most spontaneous, fun people in the world. So look for ways to be strategically spontaneous.
Nice.
Because that spontaneity, that like spontaneous fun, that is almost every child's love language. Almost every kid loves it when mom and dad say, hey, let's go for a hike. Hey, let's go have water gun fights.
Yeah.
You and Sam might have planned. You could have planned that 3 weeks in advance.
Right.
Hey, Sam, make sure you're not working late that day.
Right.
Make sure we're not announcing it to the kids.
Yeah.
But that's the day that we're going to
Bring in the
interrupt
fun.
homework and bring in the fun. So, like hit pause, maybe just hit pause in the middle of a Saturday afternoon, right? This is an example of spontaneous fun. Hey, everybody, hit pause, drop the lawnmower, put down the homework pencil, and you guys get to decide what we're going to do for the next 3 hours.
Wow.
We've got $25 as a family to do whatever you want for the next 2 or 3 hours.
I love
and
that.
let them get together and plan it.
Yeah.
It's spontaneous. Now, you and your wife decided how much can we afford to spend?
Yeah.
What's the budget?
Right.
When can we give up 3 hours on what Saturday? Yeah, we can do it. Okay. You wake up that morning, hey, remember today is a day that, at 12:30 we're going to tell the kids, drop everything.
Yeah.
This really works if you make sure they're having a really sucky day that day.
You really prime it up. You make it worse at the beginning.
Don't do spontaneous family time when
they're already
when they're
having fun.
online with their friends playing video games. You might not get the desired result.
Yeah.
So you might plan like, okay, this is going to be the day that we're doing chores.
Yeah.
But we're going to be spontaneous in the midst of chores to have fun.
That's fun.
So be strategically spontaneous.
I love that. I want someone to be strategically spontaneous with me. I'm gonna tell Sam, be like, be strategically spontaneous.
Don't let me know it's coming, but plan something awesome.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so that is great. My last tip that I have for having fun as a family and boosting that is let go of how you think it should be. So something that I've learned as our family tries to pursue fun and be purposeful about it, whether it's strategically spontaneous or however it is that it doesn't always go right. And sometimes it often doesn't go right. And cue the image of Disneyland, which is the happiest place on earth, right? But then you have the crying kids, like the cranky parents. I just remember one time Sam was with Karis in line and she was really young and we were potty training her and we had made it to the front of like It's a Small World and she was like, I gotta pee. We're like, oh, can you wait? And she was like, yeah, but she couldn't.
Right.
And so Sam was holding her and sure enough, that interrupted our fun. She, let it go and it was not what we expected.
Right.
And the reality is that sometimes when you're trying to have fun, it doesn't turn out perfectly and that's okay. Like don't give yourself a hard time. Don't give your family a hard time. You can just keep trying again. Don't give up. Don't quit. I remember during the pandemic, we were trying to think of like, what can we bring and just kind of shake things up a little bit with our kids. And we decided to, for Christmas, get the girls a Nintendo Switch. And so we were like super excited. Like we didn't have video games before that. So after Christmas, we were like plugged it all in. Everyone's all excited to play. The girls were so excited to play. And truly, for like the first 5 times since then, at that point when we were trying to play, it always ended up with tears because it was like, I don't know why is the person not moving? Like, and then we'd be like, you just press this button and move this switch and it's not working. And, or like you finally learn how to play the Switch, but then you lose.
Right.
And then they're just like, this isn't fun. And, they don't feel good anymore. And so it's like one of these things where we're like, we had this vision, like
Yep.
we're going to open this Christmas present. Everyone's going to be so happy. We're going to play a couple of video games. They're going to be like, we're just the happiest family on earth. And then it's just going to be idyllic. But in reality, like every single time we played, we was like, oh my gosh, like crying. We have to like deal with the crying now, deal with the emotions and all of this stuff. But anyway, I think my point is when we make a conscious decision to be a playful parent, understanding the benefits and the value and investing in that as a couple, it's just important to also let go of the ideal of how it should look and just know you're going to have bumps and it might be a little messy along the way, but that's okay. Just keep trying. Don't give up. It's worth it at the end.
I love it. That ties in a little bit to my last tip.
Yeah.
It's loosely related. My last tip is to remind yourself that sometimes the most fun happens when the wheels fall off.
Oh.
Sometimes the biggest memories are built when the wheels fall off. There is an old study from Focus on the Family. It's probably a 20-year-old study. So does it hold water today or not? I don't know, but it's a 20-year-old study. But they surveyed hundreds of families from all over the country, different ethnicities, socioeconomic status, blended families, single parents, as wide of a batch of people as they could. And they asked adults, what's your favorite childhood memory? What was your favorite childhood memory? And the number one answer was road trips and camping. Road trips and camping. Those are 2 different answers, but they kind of lumped them together for the study. And then the follow-up was, well, why? And to varying degrees, what they found out was almost everybody said, well, because stuff went wrong. We had to overcome something.
Really?
Yep. Remember
That's
that?
so
Remember when
interesting.
we went camping in Yosemite and it snowed super hard and we didn't have snow clothes and we had to hurry and go, right? All that.
Yeah.
Remember when we rented the RV and we got 2 flat tires and Dad had to try to change the tire and that was so funny. All the stories, the road trip, all the stuff, overcoming. It's like overcoming adversity together, which you would think, kind of going back to your point of, well, how can this possibly be fun?
Right.
We're at Disney World and our daughter just had a potty accident, right? This cannot be fun. Well, sometimes the most fun happens when the wheels are falling off.
Yes.
And here's how I would kind of urge us as parents to think about this is the reality is the wheels fall off.
Yes.
Plan the best laid plans, right? Things don't always go as planned. And when the wheels fall off, everything we do teaches our kids something.
Yeah.
As parents, we're always teaching something. And our kids are always watching and listening and paying attention. And how we as mom and dad respond when the wheels come off is going to be etched in their memory. Yeah. So if we respond in a way that we go, okay, this isn't what we planned, but how do we overcome this together? Going back to one of my previous comments, how can I sprinkle some fun into this, right? Because if you have 2 flat tires in the RV, you have 2 flat tires in the RV. Just being super frustrated about it, letting it cause you to be short-tempered with your kids or, curse maybe under your breath or not under your breath about the tires. That's not going to change the fact that you have two flat tires in the RV on your road trip to your family vacation. So why not have it be a fun memory, a lighthearted memory of when we had 2 flat tires in the. They're going to remember it one way or the other.
Yeah.
So why not give them a fun, enjoyable memory of that time when the wheels fell off? And I think when you do that, now the reality is, my hunch would be in the study with Focus on the Family, if you said to the same group of kids, maybe, what are some of your worst memories? Some of the worst memories might have also been camping and road trips, right? Because of the things that went wrong and how mom and dad responded.
Oh, yeah.
How mom and dad responded. So
really
parents,
good
we have a lot of power on how much fun. You don't have to be wild and crazy to have fun in your family. You don't have to be funny to have fun in your family. Fun is an attitude. Fun is sort of a lightheartedness approach to circumstances in life. And in my experience as both a parent and a youth pastor, I've worked with teenagers and families for 34 years or whatever it's been. I've never heard a teenager complain or a child complain that our household had too much fun. It was too lighthearted. My parents were too fun to be around. Unfortunately, we hear all the other. We hear the other all the time. Life was too serious. My parents were never satisfied. We never spent time as a family, right? And so fun, you don't have to go to Disney World to have fun. The fun pyramid, as we've listed these 6 tips, this pyramid of fun.
Yeah.
If I were going to say, hey, parents listening, here's the 2 to take away. Again, you're going to take away whatever one popped off the page. But if I were picking 2, it would be think through this pyramid of fun. Because it's good to have once in a while something a little bit bigger, more extravagant. But the pyramid is really, really cool. And the foundation of fun, if you're thinking of a pyramid, the foundation are these more spontaneous, cheaper, easier to do, close to home or in your house. Pyramid of fun and be strategically spontaneous. Because those 2 things all of us can do.
Yeah.
We can always get a little bit better at those 2 things. Just one last thought as parents, here's something I think is worth thinking about is that fun's an investment, right? We're always putting these little coins. We're always investing in our kids, and fun is an investment. And they might roll their eyes at you at your attempt to have fun. They might cry when they get the Nintendo Switch that doesn't go as well planned. The wheels might fall off the car. You might get 2 flat tires in the RV. Fun doesn't always go exactly as planned, but it's an investment. And over time, and you invest and you invest and you invest, when your children are older, your goal is for them to have this memory of, man, my parents and our household, we laughed and we loved and we had fun together. And it wasn't always awesome, right? Like a dumb karaoke game where my dad forced me to put the headphones on and sing at the top of my lungs. I hated that game, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah.
He might have hated it, my son, but he always asked for us to play it.
Right.
That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
Every time we suggested it, he rolled his eyes. But if we didn't bring it up on the next trip, he would say, hey, when are we playing the karaoke game? So anyway, there you go.
So true.
Any last thoughts, Producer Chris? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah.
Oh, this was a fantastic episode. You know, it makes me want to have more fun with my kids and my grandkids.
Does it make you want to have another child?
You know, okay, that's another episode.
We'll call you
There's so
Abraham.
Oh man, no, I really appreciated that last point you made too. I'll just say that's probably going to be my takeaway is when the wheels come off, you can still have fun.
Yeah.
Because I think what's really liberating about that is we know for certain the wheels are going to come off.
Right.
So that's okay.
Right.
And you have freedom in that, and just let it ride.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Thanks for listening. Thanks for sharing this with your friends.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed on our YouTube channel or any place where you listen to your podcast, wherever you're listening to this podcast right now, you can subscribe to it.
Yeah.
And that's always a good thing for us. It helps spread the word. Boy, we love you. We're praying for you. We're here to help you win in your effort of raising interdependent, lifelong followers of Jesus who want to make a kingdom contribution. And we hope that you found this episode helpful.
Awesome. Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
Thanks for joining the On Purpose Parents podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, you can help us by rating and reviewing our podcast on iTunes. If you're listening on our Saddleback Parents YouTube channel, please like and leave a comment. Also, remember to subscribe to our podcast and share it with your friends. You can connect with us by texting the word parents to the number 83000, following us on Instagram at Saddleback Parents, and emailing your comments to parents@saddleback.com. As a huge thank you, you can browse our hundreds of free resources at onpurposeparents.com, all created to help you win at parenting. We'll catch you next time.